We request everyone to rise. The chief guest, the guest of honor, and the dignitaries have arrived. The chief guest, the guest of honor, and dignitaries have arrived. Do be seated, please. Good afternoon, distinguished guests, faculty advisors, delegates, and last but not the least, Team E.Ahamed 2024. We are honored to have as our chief guest His Excellency Amit Narang, the Ambassador of India to the Sultanate of Oman. We at E.Ahamed are honored to have as our guest of honor Her Excellency Sumaira Chaudhry, UNICEF representative of Oman. We also have in our midst Mr. Ahmed Rais, President ISG and Chairman of E.Ahamed, members of the Indian School Al Gubra Management Committee, principals of participating schools, Mrs. Papri Ghosh, Principal ISG and Patron-in-Chief of E.Ahamed, faculty advisors from schools in India and Oman, and fellow delegates. I request the President of ISG, Mr. Ahmed Rais, to welcome our esteemed chief guest, His Excellency Amit Narang, in an environment-friendly manner. Sir, may I also request you to present the E.Ahamed collar pin. Thank you, sir. I request the President of ISG, Mr. Ahmed Rais, to welcome the guest of honor, Her Excellency Sumaira Chaudhary, in an environment-friendly manner. Sir, may I also request you to present the E.Ahamed collar pin to Her Excellency. Thank you, sir. We present the message addressed to the Model United Nations by His Excellency Antonio Guterres, the Secretary General of the United Nations for the year 2024.
Thank you for taking part in this Model United Nations conference and for believing in the power of global cooperation to solve global problems. Our world needs your engagement and ideas more than ever. We are living through extremely difficult times. Conflicts are raging, tensions are rising, and our planet is burning. Humanitarian needs are at record highs and human rights are under relentless assault. Hate speech, misinformation and disinformation spread like wildfire on social media. More than ever, we need global solidarity. We need the United Nations. And the United Nations needs you, your energy, creativity, courage and commitment. Together, I know we have what it takes to solve our shared challenges, to heal divisions, repair relations and build peace, to extend a helping hand to all those engulfed by war, climate catastrophe and hunger, to ensure justice and equality for world's women and girls and all marginalized communities, particularly the world's most vulnerable, and to expand opportunities for all, leaving no one behind. We at the United Nations will never give up in our quest for a more peaceful and just world, and I know you won't either. That is why I am fully committed to giving young people a much stronger voice in international affairs. The United Nations is proud to be your ally, and we count on you to be a force for positive change now and in the future. I wish you every success, and I thank you.
We thank His Excellency Antonio Guterres for extending his support to Model United Nations across the globe and fostering young leaders to tackle global problems. Our Secretary General, Vedika Chabra, who is the backbone of our conference, a hard-working, dedicated and talented individual, will now deliver the welcome address.
Distinguished chief guest, esteemed delegates, and fellow advocates for a united world. It is with immense honor that I, Vedika Chabra, as Secretary General, welcome you all to the E.Ahamed Model United Nations Conference. Today, we gather under the powerful theme, One World, Many Voices, Reconstructing Broken Unity. This theme, inspired by the legacy of Mr. E.Ahamed, reminds us for the urgent need to mend the fractures that divide us and to embrace our shared humanity. The E.Ahamed Model United Nations Conference is your platform to emulate his vision. Over the next few days, you will step into the shoes of diplomats representing diverse nations. You will navigate complex issues, debate fiercely, and hopefully arrive at consensus. Remember, within these committees, your voices, representing the many voices of our one world, are the very essence of our conference. My own MUN journey began in EAMUNC 2019, when I was a shy 7th grader with not much confidence and lacking in debating skills. However, I did spend countless hours on UN websites relating on topics related to everything. And yet, with the guidance of Team EAMUNC and my very own family, I was able to develop the necessary skills to excel in the committee sessions. And here I am today, standing in front of you. But fret not, I'm not perfect. My palms are sweaty. And right now, my heart is at a speed of 300 beats per minute. However, I believe that you, dear delegates, will have an even better experience, since our primary aim has been to foster an environment for constant learning, with Team EAMUNC working night and day, preparing for the conference and answering queries till 3 in the morning. This conference is a microcosm of the real world, a world where unity is not a given, but a constant pursuit. Here you have the opportunity to experiment, to fail gracefully, and to learn from one another. The road to reconstructing broken unity will not be easy. There will be disagreements, frustrations, and roadblocks. But let this conference be a springboard for fostering a more peaceful and prosperous future. Let the vision of Shri E.Ahamed be your guiding light, representing the many voices of our one world, and pave the way for a more united tomorrow. Remember, you are a leader, and it is your responsibility to society to work with your peers to create a more united future. Together, let us raise our voices in solidarity. Let us work hand in hand towards a more united and prosperous future. I extend my sincerest gratitude to all participants, advisors, and supporters of the E.Ahamed Model United Nations Conference. Thank you, and may this conference be a testament to the power of unity in diversity.
Thank you, Secretary General. As we raise the curtains on the 8th edition of EAMUNC, let's take a step back in time and delve into the journey of EAMUNC.
Since 1985, first when he visited as an emissary of Indira Gandhi to deliver an official letter, message from the Indian government to His Majesty. Since then, we personally and the families were together, and his departure His demise was a great loss to me personally and to our family.
The intention of MUNC is creating a thinking generation, conflict resolution, research, and overall the personality of the child to improve.
WHO is now called to order.
In a world in which all problems are global, there is no way countries can handle issues by themselves.
The video surely showcased the journey of E.Ahamed. This voyage has been a true testament to the vision of Sri E.Ahamed, freedom from fear. His Excellency Amit Narang has been the Ambassador of India to the Sultanate of Oman since 2021. Ambassador Narang's extensive experience in the Indian Foreign Service, including notable roles in the Indian Ocean Region Division and as Chief Vigilance Officer of the Ministry of External Affairs, highlights his dedication to fostering strong bilateral relations and advocating for the welfare of the Indian diaspora. His extensive contribution to global diplomacy, particularly in negotiations for the Sustainable Development Goals and the Paris Agreement on Climate Change, showcases his leadership and vision. His Excellency was instrumental in strengthening bilateral ties between Oman and India, with the culmination of the visit by His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq to India. Sir has also contributed to building a strong bond between the people of India and Oman through various environmental and social drives, such as tree plantation drives, beach cleaning and wadi cleaning campaigns, organizing blood donation drives, raising awareness about the need for inclusive education, celebration of International Yoga Day, and countless other activities. His Excellency's visit to ISG is always eagerly awaited, as his speeches inspire the students to explore new ideas and perspectives, and also encourages them to be lifelong learners. We invite His Excellency Amit Narang to address the delegates gathered here today. The Secretary General and Director General are requested to escort the Chief Guest to the podium.
I must say, standing on this green stone brings back memories of New York. Very well done, ISG, as usual, in setting the stage. President ISG, Papri Ghoshji, the President of the School Management Committee and Chairman of E.Ahamed Model United Nations Conference, Ahmed Raisab, members of the SMC, delegates to the E.Ahamed Model United Nations Conference, dear students, good afternoon, assalamu alaikum, and namaskar. It is a privilege and an honor for me to attend the E.Ahamed Model UN Conference organized by Indian School Al Gubra. I thank Ahmed Raisji for this very kind invitation to me to attend. Having spent some time at the United Nations as a delegate of India in those windowless rooms, I feel a special connect talking about issues relating to multilateral work. I would like to start off by congratulating the delegates to the Model UN Conference this year. I have no doubt that your participation in this event will be very useful and enriching to you. This 8th session of the E.Ahamed Model UN Conference is special as it is not just the Indian schools in Oman which are participating, but we also have Omani students, international students, as well as children from schools coming all the way from India. This cosmopolitan setting will, I'm sure, make the discussions even more interesting and impactful. Simulation of a United Nations Assembly is important in many ways. It enables the students to participate in a live negotiating environment on the pressing international issues of the day. This makes the students more connected to the developments around them and more engaged in the process of trying to find solutions to many of these problems. At another level, it also enables the young minds to learn and imbibe the essential skill sets for success in multilateral diplomacy. Even if they do not end up pursuing a career in diplomacy or, let's say, political science, I believe that the skills that they acquire, that they will acquire today by participating in simulations of multilateral negotiations will stand them in good stead in any career they end up choosing. But what is multilateral diplomacy? I think let's pause for a second, dear delegates, and mull over that question. Why is it important? And how do we conduct multilateral negotiations so that we are effective? I would like to share with you some of my own thoughts on these three tangents. In the process, hopefully drawing on some ancient wisdom from my country. First and foremost, what is it that we are doing here? And even before we contend with what is multilateral diplomacy, let's consider for a moment the essence of diplomacy itself. There are several definitions of diplomacy, ranging from the light-hearted to the serious ones. I'm sure you are aware of the serious ones. But someone is reputed to have said that diplomacy is the art of telling someone to go to hell in a manner that he looks forward to it. Somebody has also said that diplomacy is the art of letting others have it your way. While there is a grain of truth even in these facetious sounding statements, the fact is that diplomacy is all about tact. It's all about subtlety. It's all about nuance, about courtesy, grace, and respect. At the heart of diplomacy lies the quest for common ground, or what is called consensus, trying to arrive at a common landing point for multiple viewpoints. In a multilateral sense like this involves many parties sitting across the table trying to arrive at a common position on one single issue that they are discussing. Now, this is difficult enough at individual level. Try, for example, to come to an agreement among 10 of your friends on which movie to watch next or where to go on a weekend. Now imagine that in the context of international relations, these are not individuals sitting across the table, these are nation states. Arriving at a consensus in such a setting, therefore, is often difficult, if I may be allowed to use a bit of understatement, and never straightforward. And why is this process of multilateral diplomacy so important? Why is it even relevant to our times? After all, there is no dearth of commentary in the media about UN being a talking shop while the world burns. In the context of ongoing international developments, I want to give you a real-life example. Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, recently articulated Very simple, very pithy sentence. And he said, "Today's era must not be of war." This sentence eventually found itself in the communique issued by the G20 nations in New Delhi. A very simple and profound message. Today's era must not be of war. Can anybody disagree with that statement? No. None of us want war. Nobody in their right minds want conflict. But if this era is not to be the era of war, what is it? What it should be? The opposite of a state of war is a state of peace. But the opposite of going to war is coming for dialogue. Dialogue and discussion, therefore, is the only way in which we can avoid wars, conflicts, and bloodshed. And the multilateral setting like the United Nations is the platform which enables this essential dialogue. It works sometimes, it doesn't work sometimes, but the platform itself is very important. The other reason why this dialogue is important, indeed indispensable, is that because we live in a global village, an interconnected world in which the major problems we confront do not recognize convenient national borders, be it climate change, data protection and privacy, maritime security, transnational crime, or even artificial intelligence. None of these issues can be tackled by national action alone. And even if a limited national solution for some of these problems can be implemented, it becomes meaningless in the free flow of information, goods, and people that define our global landscape. Multilateral diplomacy is important, therefore, because we live in a multilateral world. Turning now to the last part of my thoughts, how does multilateral system work? What are the ingredients for a successful multilateral negotiation? How should it be conducted so that we can have more successes and less failures? I do not claim to have all the answers, but based on my very limited experience in this field, I can share some ideas with you. For success in multilateral negotiations, I would like to focus on three things, three attributes. First, speak well, but listen better. A lot of emphasis is often placed in diplomacy on speaking well. This is no doubt very important. But unlike public speaking, speaking in a diplomatic context, as I said, is all about tact. It's about conveying your opinion politely but firmly. The idea of speaking well, a good speech, has been discussed for thousands of years, at least in the Indian context, where it is treasured. And let me read out one Sanskrit shloka, which talks about what constitutes good speech. It says, Satyam bruyat, priyam bruyat. Na bruyat satyam apriyam. Na satyam cha priyam bruyat. Esha dharmaha sanatanaha. Means, speak the truth, but speak it nicely. Be careful of the bitter truth, and speak not the pleasant lie. But even more important than speaking well and putting your views across nicely is the ability to listen. Listening better enables you to sharpen your argument, responding to the concerns of the other side. An ability to listen also lends you the ability to be more empathetic. And mind you, empathy is a key ingredient of multilateral discussions. One must recognize that each one of us sitting on the table represents different countries, bringing to the table their own national positions. In this situation, there is no absolute right and no absolute wrong. The ability to listen, therefore, allows you to bridge that divide, to make the debate less contentious, and to enable it to be more constructive. There is another Sanskrit aphorism, I will not read it out in full, but it says something like, a brave person is 1 in 100, a scholar is 1 in 1,000, a great orator is 1 in 10,000, but a good listener is rarer still. Good listening is a very difficult skill to master. So cultivate the habit of listening well, and you will find that the debate to be better and the outcomes to be more productive. Second, Learn to build coalitions. It is important to seek allies to your cause, people who would support you and amplify your voice. Strength in multilateralism often lies in numbers. Coalition building has also been an important attribute of human behavior from time immemorial. We all go out and seek out friends. And those who are from India will appreciate the story that I'm going to relate better. The story comes from the Indian epic of Ramayana. The story of Sri Ram as he travels from the north of India to Sri Lanka to rescue his wife from Ravana. At one point of time, Sri Ram finds himself in the forest, alone with his brother, faced with a very unequal situation. Just two of them marching against thousands, marching thousands of kilometers away to take on a mighty king with a fearsome army. What does he do? He builds a coalition. A very unlikely coalition, you might say, consisting of men, monkeys, animals, and other creatures. But ultimately, this proves to be decisive, and he is able to return to his kingdom victorious. So next time you are negotiating, remember this. Quite apart from raising your voice and trying to convince the other to your viewpoint, it is very important to build alliances on the floor, gaining friends to your cause. Third, perhaps the most difficult, try to find the common ground. This is the holy grail of multilateral negotiation. In the end, collective good must prevail over individual gains. Easier said than done. After all, each one of us, whether we are individuals or nation states, we ultimately come to the table to maximize our position. All of us want to talk. No one wants to listen. All of us want to take. No one wants to give. However, success in a multilateral setting can never be about a winner takes all. Therefore, the idea that each one of us will have to climb down from our absolute desirable to reach something that all of us can agree upon is a very important mind shift. This is the mind shift that enables outcomes to be reached in such a setting. In summary, therefore, speak well but listen better, gain friends and build alliances, and seek the landing point for consensus. Dear delegates, I have no doubt that your participation in this Model UN conference will give you a first-hand experience of what multilateral discussions are all about and make you familiar with the do's and don'ts of the process. I do hope that as you engage in negotiations, some of the ideas that I have shared with you may be useful to you. Do think about them. It is important you get it right, because yours is the generation that will have the responsibility to convert dialogue into action and arguments into consensus. Last but not the least, as in life, equally in negotiation, please remember what Mahatma Gandhi said: be the change that you want to see in the world. You have my good wishes. Thank you and happy negotiating.
Thank you for the words of wisdom, Your Excellency. Your speech has indeed motivated us to come together and collaborate to solve global crisis, as we have to protect our only home, Mother Earth. Presenting before you the video that showcases the multifaceted topics of E.Ahamed 2024.
I can state with confidence that all the delegates present here will unite and raise their voices, clearly embodying the theme of the conference: One World, Many Voices, Reconstructing Broken Unity. Our guest of honor for the conference, Her Excellency Sumaira Chaudhry, UNICEF representative Oman, is a dedicated advocate for the rights of children and women. With a career spanning over 2 decades, she has demonstrated her commitment to improving the lives of vulnerable population across the globe. We invite Her Excellency Sumaira Chaudhry to share her insights with the young leaders gathered here. I request the Secretary General and the Director General to escort the guest of honor to the podium.
Good afternoon. Wait a minute. I thought the theme of the conference was raising voices. Good afternoon. Wonderful. Distinguished chief guest, faculty advisors, delegates, friends, and of course, where is my friend, or my boss really, the Secretary General and the Director General. My name is Sumaira Chaudhry. I'm the representative of UNICEF in Oman, and I am so honored to be here with you today to talk a little bit about what you guys are going to be doing for the next few days and my own career and experiences working in the United Nations. The 2 decades reference over there did make me feel a little old, but that's okay, because actually what I wanted to talk to you about was that I actually, believe it or not, once was a child like you. And I sat in a room like this, also in the Middle East. That's also where I did my schooling. But we visited New York once when I was 10 years old, and we did a tour of the United Nations Secretariat. Now, my generation, we didn't get pocket money, or my family, I didn't get pocket money. So I went up to my mom, and I said, "Can I have $1, please?" $1? What do you want $1 for? "I want to buy a flag of the United Nations at the gift shop." "Why do you want the flag?" "Because I want to work here someday." My mom will testify to that story. It's true. I still have the flag somewhere in my home. But I'm sharing that because when you have this commitment to a better world, it's something, and I see that in this room, and I feel that energy that stays with you. And, you know, the Secretary General was asking me, what drove me, what motivated me. And again, I grew up in countries like this, not in Oman itself, but elsewhere in this region. And I would go back to my home country of Bangladesh every summer. And I was very much struck by the children I would see on the streets, breaking bricks, carrying things on their head in the heat. And that never felt right to me. That didn't sit right in my stomach, And that's what motivated me to study international relations in college, later on also international development in my master's. And I got really lucky after that. I got a job with UNICEF. And actually, can I also get a shout out from the UNICEF delegates in this room? Stand up 1 second, are you in here? Thank you so much. I love the C for children. Thank you. But I'd also want all the other delegates to stand up for a second. Everybody up? Because my challenge to all of you, as you sit in your various committees, is think about that C for children in all of your committees. Why? And you can sit down now, thank you. But we know, for example, that with climate change, right? So climate change, there is evidence that air pollution is affecting the development of infants' brains, okay? We know that sanctions can have an effect, impact children being able to access food. We know that women's rights are often linked to children's rights. So as much as I'm thrilled that there's a UNICEF committee and I might try to drop by your conversation, I would really encourage all the delegates to think about the C in all of your work as you go forward. Now, the theme I understand is, of course, one world, many voices, and reconstructing broken unity. And I do think we have to take a moment to recognize that those themes are so important at this moment in time. You heard it from Antonio Gutierrez's speech as well, and that they're under a threat in a way that they've never been at the present moment. So the Secretary General has issued a call for 2024 to be a year of rebuilding trust and restoring hope. And I have to say, again, seeing all of you young people in this room gives me that kind of hope. So I do hope that as much as, I know the UN will keep doing its part, voices like yours, and again, we see that around the world. I'm sure Greta is a name all of you are familiar with, but there are many others as well. I don't know if you know about the case in Montana, for example, where children actually took the state to court to complain about climate change, and they won. So, your generation, where I don't want to put too much of a burden on you, yet we count on you to be our allies, friends, and partners as we try to see through this hope that the Secretary General talked about. So I started with a story of the flag when I was 10 years old, and what I want to end by saying is that I feel so lucky every day. I walk into work, and the UNICEF office is in Al Ghubra, not so far from here, and I walk into a place where we have the United Nations flying from the roof, because to me that's a symbol of that hope and trust we want to see in the world out there. So thank you so much for having me. I wish you wonderful deliberations, and stay on your toes, because I might try to drop by if I can. Thank you so much.
That was a truly inspiring speech, ma'am. As members of EAMUNC, we will certainly carry your invaluable insights and incorporate them in our minds and hearts. Thank you, Your Excellency. The choir of Indian School Al Ghubra will now present One World, One Chance. Let us give them a huge round of applause for the melodious performance. The song, composed at home by Alan McCullough, demonstrates that change comes from within and you can influence people from the confines of your home. Presenting the E.Ahamed 2024 pre-conference movie, which is a canvas of laughter, emotions, bloopers, and lots of hard work. After all the trials and tribulations, here we are all set for the conference. We have the honor to present the mementos to the chief guest, His Excellency Amit Narang, and the guest of honor, Her Excellency Sumaira Chaudhary. I request our president, Mr. Ahmed Rais, and our principal, Mrs. Papri Ghosh, to escort the chief guest, His Excellency Amit Narang, and the guest of honor, Her Excellency Sumaira Chaudhary, to the dais. May I request our president, Mr. Ahmed Rais, to present the shawl to the chief guest, His Excellency Amit Narang. Sir, I also request you to present the memento to the chief guest, His Excellency. Thank you, sir. May I request our principal, Mrs. Papri Ghosh, to present the shawl to the guest of honor, Her Excellency Sumaira Chaudhary. I request our President, Mr. E.Ahamed Rais, to present the memento to the guest of honor, Her Excellency Sumaira Chaudhary. Thank you. I request the dignitaries to kindly be seated.
I call upon the members of the EAMUNC Press Corps to conduct a question with all the dignitaries present on stage.
Good afternoon, dignitaries. I'm Zainab Javed Akhtar, the Editor-in-Chief, Press Corps EAMUNC 2024. The Press Corps would like to conduct a quick Q&A session with the permission of His Excellency. Thank you, sir, and Her Excellency. Thank you, ma'am. We would like to start off with the first question to His Excellency Amit Nara. Sir, in your opinion, what kind of a world do you think technological advancements are leading us towards?
To answer your question in a very succinct manner, I am an optimist. I believe we are heading towards a technology-enabled world, which will be a better world than before. But the challenge is only that we have to make sure that change happens, that technology doesn't become the driving force. Rather, we remain in the driver's seat to enable technology to be an enabler, if that's how I would like to put it.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable input. I'm sure the delegates are going to ponder over it for quite a while.
I am Inaya Zaidi, and my question is to Her Excellency Sumaira Chaudhary. Ma'am, what are the most pressing problems you think we students will solve in the future?
So we as UNICEF have been talking about 3 C's, and we're back to that C letter that we see as challenges in the world today. One is climate change, the other is protracted crises, and of course then also the impact of COVID-19. And sadly, I think our generation is trying to tackle them, but those are long-running problems. So I don't see that we're going to solve them overnight, and I see that sadly that we're going to be counting on all of you to carry that load forward.
Thank you, ma'am, for sharing your thoughts.
I am Rabiul Zaman, and my question is to His Excellency. Sir, what advice would you give to young leaders aspiring to pursue careers in diplomacy and international relations?
I think I just did that. I think the press corps was outside. No, I did, in fact, but again, to answer your question, really, to the younger generation, my advice is to be more connected. Developments today are much fast-paced. The media environment that we grow in usually do not allow a deep dive to understand issues. We mostly have a very superficial understanding of what issues are. And for your generation, people who are in high school and growing up for careers ahead, I really would like people to cultivate the habit of reading. I know it's counterintuitive in this setting, in a diplomatic setting, but really that is very important, because as diplomats also, your credibility is there till you can determine and establish your command over your subject. Just speaking hollow words doesn't lead to success. So as younger generation, I think it is incumbent upon all of you, all of us, to inculcate the habit of going deep down into subjects, develop understanding, which will finally lead to a position where you can think of solutions.
Thank you, sir, for invaluable advice for all those young leaders who wish to be diplomats.
The final question to end the question and answer is to Her Excellency. Ma'am, in a world without the UN, how would you imagine all of the current major global problems would be solved?
Wait, how come I get the hard questions? He got the easy ones.
I can answer that.
I believe in the multilateral system, right? That is why I work, and I'm glad I see the UN flag over there. That's why I work at the United Nations. You know, and as I said earlier, these are tough times for the UN, right? And we shouldn't pretend we haven't come under attack in ways we've never done in our history in the last few months. And sometimes I do think, well, what alternatives could there be? Is there a better way of doing this? I think it's incumbent upon us as leaders of the UN to keep ourselves striving to be better. But at the same time, I think having that fora, and again, the ambassador also talked about the importance of consensus and dialogue. Fundamentally, that's what it comes down to, right? And I believe in the Forum of the United Nations to bring us together for those tough challenges you talked about.
Thank you, ma'am. Your answer is surely an eye-opener to all of us.
Due to time constraint, the Q&A session is only limited to 4 questions. But we would certainly like to continue it in our press corps room if possible. With that, we come to the end of the Q&A session. Thank you, dignitaries, for your valuable time and thought-provoking responses.
Thank you.
That was quite an insightful session. Our sincere thanks goes out to His Excellency and Her Excellency for making the session engaging, enriching, and motivating. We will now have the presentation of the gavels to the bureaus. We request the dignitaries to come to the front of the dais for the gavel presentation. I request His Excellency Amit Narang to present the gavel to the Bureau of the United Nations Environment Programme. The Bureau of UNEP is requested to receive the gavel from His Excellency. Thank you, Your Excellency. I request Her Excellency Sumaira Chaudhry to present the gavel to the Bureau of the United Nations Security Council. The Bureau of UNSC is requested to receive the gavel from Her Excellency. Thank you, Your Excellency. I request His Excellency Amit Narang to present the gavel to the Bureau of the United Nations General Assembly. The Bureau of UNGA is requested to receive the gavel from His Excellency.
Thank you, Your Excellency. I request Her Excellency Sumaira Chaudhry to present the gavel to the Bureau of the Economic and Social Council. The Bureau of ECOSOC is requested to receive the gavel from Her Excellency Sumaira Chaudhry. Thank you, Your Excellency. I request His Excellency Amit Narang to present the gavel to the Bureau of the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women. The Bureau of UNCSW is requested to receive the gavel from His Excellency. Thank you, Your Excellency. I request Her Excellency Sumaira Chaudhary to present the gavel to the Bureau of the United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund. The Bureau of UNICEF is requested to receive the gavel from Her Excellency Sumaira Chaudhary. Thank you, Your Excellency. I request His Excellency Amit Narang to present the gavel to the Bureau of the United Nations Office for Outer Space Affairs. The Bureau of UNUSA is requested to receive the gavel from His Excellency Amit Narang. Thank you, Your Excellency. We come to the most awaited part of the opening ceremony. I request the chief guest, His Excellency Amit Narang, the Ambassador of India to the Sultanate of Oman, to officially declare the 8th edition of the E.Ahamed Model United Nations Conference 2024 in session.
I now declare the 8th session of E.Ahamed Model United Nations Conference, Muscat chapter, in session.
Thank you, Your Excellency. With this, we come to the end of the opening ceremony. It is indeed a privilege to have commenced the opening ceremony with the august presence of the chief guest, guest of honor, and all the esteemed dignitaries. We express our heartfelt gratitude to all of the distinguished guests for being a part of the opening ceremony of EAMUNC 2024. Thank you to all our guests for sparing their valuable time to be in our midst. The Secretary General and Director General will now escort the chief guest and guest of honor as they leave the auditorium. Delegates, please remain standing as the chief guest and guest of honor leave the auditorium. Delegates and faculty advisors are requested to remain standing in their places and wait for further instructions. I request the Bureau of UNUSA to remain at the entrance of the auditorium. Delegates from UNUSA are requested to leave the auditorium.